All right, everyone. This is Tim over here at Pack to the Future podcast. We have a slightly different show this week with a very special guest, one of the best and friendliest faces in the hobby, Jess Mineo at Breaks with Jess on Instagram and most social media platforms. Welcome to the show, Jess.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here.
Absolutely. So it's been a little while since we've touched bases. So Jess is somebody I bumped into along the way in my various Facebook groups. It's gone anywhere from what, like collecting special cheater cards on your end to precious metals. So there's quite the spread there.
Yeah, for sure. It's been a journey and you've always been there along the way. So yeah, it was cards to medals, back to cards, and back here.
But no, thanks so much for hopping on. I think the last time we really interacted was when you were still part of our dear friend, dear hobby friend, Jonathan Rotonda's Roto Breaks. And then from there, you've kind of sprouted your wings in the last year, 2 years, and that's been really fun to watch from afar. You want to tell people about that and just how you ended up with like Bleaker trading and just, yeah, happenings in your life and hobby life?
Yeah, 100%. So our dear friend, Jonathan Rotunda, Roto breaks. I was breaking with Roto for about a year and a half, 2 years. And from there, I kind of got bad at sorting and shipping and getting stuff out. I'd like to say like in a kind way, but I just wanted to grow essentially. So I went from, breaking with Roto to still also breaking with Roto, but finding my way into Bleaker trading. So I moved into Manhattan and started working with Bleaker Trading, which is a small social club in New York City. And we did a lot of trade nights. So we still do trade nights. And we also opened up a retail shop back in the day. So I guess a year and a half ago, which now Cards and Coffee has taken over. And since that has opened up, I got the opportunity now. We're fast tracking to work at Cogent Marketing. So Cogent World Marketing is the parent company of Bleaker Trading, and my day to day is I work in marketing. I'm a full time field manager, activation manager. So I get to go to places like the Final Four and activate for LG. I was just
Yeah.
there in Houston. I was there with LG, which is my client, and I helped build a huge activation there. So that's what I do day to day. And then of course I'm still at Bleaker Trading. I'm the general manager, running the trade nights, running the other marketing opportunities we have there. Still there once or twice a week. Whatever opportunities come my way, I'm kind of just taking everything and just running with it, which has been awesome. I do miss the Facebook groups. I do miss breaking a little bit, but I've been closer with Tops and Fanatics folks, so we'll see what happens there. So sometimes I get to rip my own personal boxes and so on and so forth.
What's that like? Shoot, I haven't opened a personal box in a hot minute.
It's pretty fun, to be honest. I mean,
Yeah.
you gotta make a little content out of it, which is kind of weird, but I guess I'm gonna be ripping this today. So I
Oh,
have some
nice.
archives, and I have a box of Bowman, personal box of Bowman. So
Personal
it's,
box of Bowman. Yeah. You're gonna be pretty excited when you pull that Drew Jones.
oh yeah, I'm gonna be a millionaire. What?
Yeah, I think all those jokes going around Facebook right now and the memes about pulling the Drew Jones from like a Walmart blaster, right? So the Super Factor 101.
Yeah, imagine like a dude or a female like pulling that from a blaster and then having to wait until he's in the Hall of Fame to be a millionaire I
Oh,
don't know, out
I
of a
know.
blaster, but that's just crazy because every year the best hits are the blasters. So
Yeah.
stock up, everybody. I'm kidding.
No, that dreaded term, the hangers are bangers.
I mean, sometimes it's true. I mean,
Yeah.
I once I pulled a one of one Tyler Hero out of a hanger box. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, it was his Prism 2018 when I was looking for Luca.
Man, yeah. That's not
Pretty
bad at
pretty
all.
sure I'm there.
No, those terms for that bounty are pretty ridiculous, but it made for good headlines, right?
100%. It's all about the hobby news.
You on the marketing side, how would you have done that?
Honestly, if I had the money, I would have gone at it the same way. Why not?
Yeah.
If you have the money, um, might as well. kind of give the hobby something to hunt for.
Well, I guess it makes sense, right? You get yourself like a little exit clause from the bounty if he doesn't make it, right? And then
100%.
it's like
And
any kind of baseball contract or football contract.
we don't know Drew Jones yet. The
No,
fact
we
that it's
don't.
only it's $1 million when he hits all if he gets all of a Hall of Fame as a position
Exactly.
player.
That's a
Like
big ask. Yeah.
big ask. Otherwise it's 250K, which
Yeah.
somebody might already pay that for the superfractor,
Right.
which I'm assuming if it grades well, it will be
Oh
way
yeah.
above that.
Yeah, easily. They're gonna
Yeah.
PSA 10 that as long as it's not like horribly left, right, centered, right? So
$1,000,000%. You have to.
well, so you've made it to Bleecker, and so like, what do you feel like? You mentioned growth and wanting to grow. So, what do you feel like was the really big catalyst for getting to that point, or wanting to really sprout your wings?
Well, honestly, what brought me into breaking, it was during the pandemic. Started being on Facebook more, and I was really behind my face was behind the camera. You can only see my hands. I
Hmm.
had to stop biting my nails and all that. So
Yeah,
I guess
your
the
nails are
catalyst,
always different. So,
yeah, I don't bite them anymore.
oh, that's a
Um,
start.
yeah, so the catalyst for growth, I guess, would be being around more people, like actually in person, and
Hmm.
wanting that human interaction. So as everybody knows, the hobby started booming really, during COVID, and everybody or whoever was in it got their fair share of being involved, whether it be on Facebook groups or getting breaks and stuff like that. And Bleecker
Hmm.
was actually, just a small ways away from my apartment. So I really wanted to interact and I really wanted to get involved. And as much as it is uncomfortable sometimes being in front of the camera, I wanted to make myself uncomfortable because I think growing means being uncomfortable sometimes.
Hmm. Absolutely.
So yeah, so basically I just wanted to grow and feel uncomfortable. And that's what I've been doing. So, whether it be interviewing Derek Jeter or just or that was so uncomfortable, but I like because I was so excited.
Yeah.
Um, or just being like at trade nights with 100 people I don't know, learning about things I don't know.
Yeah.
That was my reason, my catalyst to kind of take it then to the next level and not just be like my hands behind a camera talking about sports cards. It's like, let me see what I can do with this. And let me see if I could be a face that teaches, that's genuine, and that, you know, I can learn and I can teach. Essentially, I could still kind of talk about cards and other stuff in an authentic and genuine way because I feel like that's who I am.
Yeah, I mean, the hobby's been a part of your life. You grew up with cards, you love cards, and like you can't fake that, right? And Chad, who hasn't joined us this week, but one of his big challenges for this year was to literally challenge himself and like get himself out of his comfort zones. And I think that's just such a cool goal to have, just any step of the way. I mean, it applies to anybody, any path of life, and that truly is the only way to grow is to get yourself out of your comfort zone, right? Sounds like you've done that in some pretty big ways. Breakers have this. I don't want to say anonymous nature to them, but they kind of do. I mean, especially the old school way of breaking, where it really is just your hands. Of course, different camera angles now, and seeing the mug shots up front for the reaction shots. That's changed things a little bit, but yeah, I mean, I think it's become just such a cool way for you to grow for sure, and it's been fun to watch. So.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly, I feel like, what some people need to do. And you're right about the whole breaking thing. It was simply in my hands for so long, especially being like a female back in 2020 and nobody else was doing it, kind of. And I was like, oh, I
Yeah,
don't want to show my face. It's awkward, blah, blah,
yeah,
blah. But now I'm like, no, I don't care. You got to learn not to
yeah.
care and just run with it.
Well, that's the thing, right? Like you watch people make a complete, fools of themselves on like TikTok and like all these Instagram reels, and you're like, well, these guys are like very clearly not photogenic. They're in like their mom's closet and like they're just, dumping stuff on themselves. So it's like nobody cares at the end of the day. It's more about the content, and you're definitely putting that all out there from like a very different perspective from where you were once upon a time. So, um,
I'm trying. I mean, I'm not to the point where I'm like fully let loose yet. It's like I still wouldn't make a TikTok. I know a lot of people in the hobby, they are those characters, but
yeah,
again, the more authentic, genuine person I think will always shine with me.
I think
Um,
so. Yeah, and
I
people will
hope
see
so.
that.
Gosh.
Yeah, yeah. And people have seen that, yeah, definitely like one of the friendliest faces of the hobby. And you mentioned female. I remember watching one of the interviews that I'm forgetting, of course, on camera which feed it was, but they really centered on women of the hobby. But then the panel was discussing how it kind of bothers people that, it even has to be a distinction. But, the sad reality is like you were maybe one of two like heavily involved females in these Facebook groups that I came across, and that's just the odds, right? Like it's literally less than 1 to 2% in most of these groups. And does that bother you still? I mean, knowing that people still probably try to typecast you simply just for being female.
No, actually, it doesn't. So
Okay,
it 'cause sometimes inspires me, simply
cool.
because,
Yeah,
like back in the day, you're right. I mean, there was maybe yeah, there was two of us. There was three of us maybe in the Facebook groups.
yeah, literally.
Um, and yeah, I'm like, there was three. There's yeah. Um, I'm like, I know the one. Anyway, going off that, yeah. I mean, it doesn't bother me, and because no, honestly, I've had such a supportive group that nobody kind of really gives me crap about it.
Hmm.
Like, and it is rare for a female to be as involved and as interested in sports cards that I am, as I am. So really, that is something special to me. Is I am different, and it is kind of rare to find somebody like me who's a female who's so enthusiastic about sports cards. And I also hope that people seeing me, whether it be on social media or on podcasts, if they hear me, like young females who are similar to me, have similar interests, get
Hmm.
involved because while it's a male dominated space, it's welcoming for the
Yeah.
most part, unless unless you're not authentic. And I think that's been my thing always. Is
Hmm.
I am very lucky that I haven't gotten any super negative feedback being like, oh, she's a girl. It's like, no, she's a collector.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's why some other women also frown upon focusing on the female part, is
Right.
because we truly are collectors. So
Exactly.
if we were behind a keyboard, nobody would know the difference, to be completely honest. If we
Exactly.
showed you our collection, half the time nobody would know the difference.
Right.
Like eh, for I think 4 years when I was online getting into breaks, my name was Jamin,
Hmm.
and I had a picture of me on like my YouTube little thing icon. They thought I was a guy, that was my girlfriend. And so like nobody knew I was a female
Yeah.
until one day like they were like, "Oh, Jessica." I'm like, "Yeah." And nothing changed, to be
Nothing
honest.
changed. Yeah, yeah. No, and I love that. I've heard the term hobbyist or collector, just that more like inclusive title. And it really isn't even a title. I mean, that's what we are at the end of the day, right? Like we're fellow collectors, and that's just been such a unifying like identity for all of us. And especially during COVID, like you said, I feel like that's when things really kind of became more acceptable, like more interesting for us as hobbyists, just having that time and dedication to spend with each other, talk with each other, interact with each other in just the most random ways. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, some of my best friends during COVID were found on Facebook groups talking through
Hmm.
that about sports cards. I mean, it was honestly a saving grace that, I mean, I was even talking to you. I remember I had COVID. I was like, Tim, what do I do? Like, like it was just like, you made relationships with these people who you'd never met, but you had one thing in common, which was sports cards.
Yeah.
And that I still find that today. I mean, it's a little harder when you're meeting people in person. And again, there's 100 men in a room and there's me.
Hmm.
And that sometimes is like intimidating, but other times it's cool to be like, all right, like I can talk as much on this card as they can. And it's not about me being a female, it's just our passion for this.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, again, like that's just to me, it's as cool as anything.
Yeah. And I think just that common thread will always unite us, which is pretty cool. Um, yeah, and just being able to chat cards, shoot, like how many hours literally have we spent or like wasted on Facebook or like, other groups, and just even just right now, like bullshitting on a Sunday, right? Like
100%.
there's no reason besides cards, which I love. What would you say are like the top five moments you've had in the last year and a half?
Gosh, so I was thinking about, the top moments recently that I've gone through in Bleecker and the hobby and all that stuff. And I guess number one would have to be meeting Derek Jeter, my idol.
That's
Um,
number one. Yeah.
yeah, it
Okay.
has. I mean, I got to meet him. I got to interview him. He signed my shoe.
Yeah.
And he actually started interviewing me, and it was very chill, it was really cool. It was really awesome, and I had to keep it composed
Yeah,
throughout
yeah,
the
I bet,
interview.
right?
Yeah, and then I remember watching a game with him because afterwards I got to watch the game with him, and then I got home, and that's when I like started screaming like a girl, like, oh my god, I had to keep it composed until I literally got home. That was definitely my number one. Um,
Well, you
Two
didn't
would
have to keep it composed, but like
Yeah, I mean, I just didn't want to seem like a super fan, even though he definitely knows
yeah,
I am.
yeah.
But I was proud of myself that I kept it somewhat
Kept it
cool.
professional.
Yeah, I was like, next time I see
Awesome.
him, maybe I'll be a little more fangirl. But again, I'll probably keep it just as composed.
Yeah. All right.
Um,
Number two. Yeah.
Number two would have to be probably the events in between that. So we helped Bleecker helped were assisted with launching some other trading platforms. So I got to meet
Hmm.
Pharrell,
Yeah.
which was really cool. Pharrell, Tyler, the creator, Jaden Smith was there, a bunch of other people like that, and it was just like a room full of celebrities, and they were just all chill, like
Really? Yeah.
actually engaging.
That's cool.
And yeah, Fro was like, there's a few other people there, and he looked at me. He's like, "What's your name?" and shook my hand. I was
Yeah.
like, "Hi, what's up,
Like,
man?"
is this real
Con-
life, right?
yeah, I was like, "I like your grills." So like just having the yeah, having those experiences was probably my number two, for
That's
sure.
surreal. Yeah.
I think getting my position at Cogent right now in the past year has to be number three,
That's cool.
because yeah, it's been interesting because I started working for Mark and Bleecker, and Mark started Bleecker as a pure love for sports cards, and
Hmm.
I didn't actually know at the time that he owned a larger successful marketing company, and it's like kind of being called up to the big leagues. So he saw my
Yeah.
skills when it comes to sports cards, and he saw what I love to do, and I think he saw my raw talent and saw, even though I wasn't versed in marketing per se, um, he was like, you could definitely go places, and he wanted me to give me a chance at being part of the larger company.
That's
And
so cool. Yeah.
yeah, to me, that's like being called up to the big leagues. So like, I have like a full time nine to
Yeah.
five, like in corporate America, I guess.
Yeah.
And so somebody seeing my value, my worth, and bringing my skills to another level
Yeah.
was kind of also just as cool.
You're like single A Jackson Holiday, like 18-year-old. I mean, obviously you're not 18, but like somebody sees the raw talent in you and they're like, okay, we're signing her. Love it. So.
100%, yeah, and getting to work, like, literally, and getting to work with LG and in Houston, and going to Final Four, and now I'm working. So we work with Corona Modelo's Pacifico. So my
Yeah.
my next project, I'll be working with a chef at a Mets game, and doing an activation outside of it. Like, I'm like, how lucky am I that
Right?
I get to work
Yeah.
in baseball and beer?
That's like hardly a job at times, right? Like, I love it.
Like, literally, when I look back at it, I'm like, wow. And going off that, I guess number four would be all the times that I got to actually work for Corona, and I got flown out to the All Star game, and I got to do card break the All Star game
Hmm.
in LA. And there I met like Vladdy, I met J Rod, I met all these studs,
Yeah.
and it was just so cool because I'd never been to LA, and I got to open up sports cards, like literally just open up sports cards, and I got paid to go there. Um,
Yeah.
and I recently did the same thing in Tampa and Arizona for Innings Fest. And
Hmm.
so like that was subcontracted. So like they paid breaks with Jess to go do some card breaks, um, and drink beer. Like, that's just it's just cool to see what this could bring. Being in loving cards, and
Mhm.
taking the next step and getting in front of the camera. It's like, all right, well, like this is what I'm going to get out of it. That's amazing. So, I mean, those opportunities are just something that I couldn't have dreamed of in the past.
No. Yeah, I mean you can't script that stuff for sure. So
No, I wish I could sometimes.
oh my goodness. Yeah. No, do you have a number five or is it we can keep it at a top four? That's fine too.
I mean, five would probably be every single time that I get to go to a card show and meet people.
Yeah.
Whether it be
Yeah.
the Mint, I get to see people that I have not seen in months or years.
Hmm.
The National, stuff like that that's still it's so important to me, and I still thrive and I live for that. Like the National coming up in July, I can't be more excited. Not only
Yeah.
will I be doing stuff with Derek Jeter again in Arena Club and Bleecker, but just like seeing everybody like who I have not seen or met yet because there's still so many people. We're just coming out of COVID fully.
Yeah,
My
that's
number
true.
five has to be all of the hobby events and all the hobby shows. The card shows, the Mint, National. That has to be the highlight of my year is
Yeah.
being there and being able to be there and being present for all of it.
Did you go to Atlantic City last year?
I did, and that was
Yeah.
tough. I got COVID, but that's okay. Um, it was a lot, but every national is different, and
Yeah.
I enjoyed it so much. And half the time, because I was sick, I was like, I don't know who these people are, but I'm smiling because like I care
Yeah.
and it matters to smile. So like they would come up to me and like introduce themselves, and a lot of the guys I would know. Um,
Mm.
but I'm just happy it's not an AC this year because it was kind of ick.
Yeah. We had plans to go and then like it just got ickier thinking about it as we got and then just the logistics and the fact that it was AC, we were like, we're just gonna save our budget for Chicago this year. So
So you
I'll
guys are
be
going to
there.
Chicago.
Yeah, that's locked and loaded, booked. So that'll be cool to meet
Amazing.
up and say hi. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to do something there because I will be there all the whole time. My hotel's
Yeah.
booked already. So
Very cool. Yeah, no, I'm excited for Chicago for sure. I feel like this will really be the year that things have kind of normalized. Like Dallas has always been there in the background, and people have really kind of like latched onto that as, like the national junior. So, but yeah, nothing beats the national. Just that vibe, the amount of people, and then this year the amount of space it sounds like is going to be absurd. So.
yeah, I mean, going to that point, I mean, my first show was in Dallas, like
Oh,
right
there you
in
go.
during COVID. It was, I
Hmm.
sold, you probably remember this. I had a Mike Trout diamond.
Yeah,
Yeah, I sold it at my first Dallas show, and I
nice.
was
Yeah.
like, everybody kind of knows if you're a collector, a true hoarder or collector. It's like I'm not selling this card unless like somebody brings like this amount of value.
Hmm.
And my first memory was, I sat there and I was like, I'm not selling this unless somebody would offer me this. And it was an absurd amount at the time.
Yeah.
And somebody did. Somebody offered me that. And I just remember like I was with Roto at the time and Sully and I just bit my lip. I was like, I have to sell this card.
Yeah.
Like, dang. People are
Yeah.
like, Jess, you have that much money. I'm like, I know I've never had that much money before. Like, I'm selling my card.
Yeah.
So that's just that was just one fun memory that just came to mind when you talk about Dallas. It's like the
Yeah.
card shows and the nationals, you really never know what it's going to bring, whether it's something amazing or you letting go something, you're picking up something. It's truly the best part about all of these shows.
Yeah, the relationships, the cards, I mean, you can just spend literally hours like talking, browsing, like shooting the breeze about anything. So it's
Oh yeah.
and every card has its price, so no regrets on selling that trout. Like you probably actually hit the peak, and then now you could always rebuy it or buy a different trout. Like you can buy a Jeter. Like you got so much more you can do. You can pay a few months of rent in the Bronx. So.
Literally, yeah. I was able to pay rent. I was definitely able to pick up some other cards, and I was, I wish I took advantage of selling back then my larger cards, but I did sell, traded a few, which was cool. I learned to
Yeah,
to trade actually. So that's my Jordan. I had a Jordan PSA 8, and I traded into a bunch of vintage baseball for it. And now I'm
oh look
looking
at
and
you.
cash, and I'm like
Yeah,
looking back, like, wow, that was the smartest thing I've ever done.
just pure dumb
Was
luck sometimes, right? But yeah.
Yeah. I was like, oh, I like baseball. I like Mickey Mantle. I like, Jackie Robinson, cool.
right?
Like I traded down for PSA 7 instead of an 8, and I got like thousands of dollars worth of value. I'm like, wow, all right.
There you
So,
go.
you look back at those times, where we were just shooting the breeze 24/7 and, doing our thing, enjoying cards, and you're like, wow, that was actually a great time. And this still is a great time. We're still doing the same thing, just maybe at a different caliber.
Exactly. Uh, well, yeah, we'll definitely have to meet up in Chicago, and just figure out something to do there. But
Million percent.
yeah, I won't have any trout diamonds to flash though. So
I don't either, so it's all right.
yeah,
Not anymore.
I know. Okay, you ready for some rapid fire questions?
Yeah, give it to
Okay.
me.
So you already mentioned best cards and best pulls, so I won't make you mention those. But why did you only get Jeter to sign one shoe? You had two shoes with you, right?
Yeah, I just guess because it was probably too much of an ask him to sign two.
All right, fair
Um,
enough. Yeah,
but they are a pair, so they're right behind me
yeah,
right now, and they are a pair. So,
that's amazing.
and I feel like I could find the other one on eBay unsigned if I really needed to make a pair of shoes to wear.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. I guess that would have been a bad look for you to have like two signed and then to like offload one of them, right? Like that would have been a pretty
Awful.
awful, right? That'd be an awful look. So now you got to keep the pair. All right, I'll cut you some slack for that. So, how many career hits does Jeter have?
No idea.
No idea. 3,465. So,
There, thank you. I knew it was over 3,000 because I had something
yeah,
signed from him from his 3,000 hit.
yeah.
But the 400 other ones I did not know.
No, but it's a nice round number, so maybe that'll stick now. 465.
I like that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. And is he the best shortstop ever?
Yes.
No hesitation. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Well,
Watching him, I don't think anybody compares yet. I'm not saying
yes.
that we
Ooh,
have. There's people in contention right now. I think that every year, when it comes to young guys or the guys who are currently there, it's like I've got to see them. I've got to see them play until
yeah.
they really do make it. But right now, in my eyes, he has been and is the greatest shortstop ever.
Wow. There's plenty of people out there that disagree, but I like your conviction. So,
Yeah, and that's the love of sports and sports fans.
yeah,
Everybody has their opinion, and we're gonna agree to disagree, and that's I love
yeah.
it
No, you've got ways to back your argument up. Everybody's got stuff to throw in your face about it, and
and throw
that's
it,
all okay.
and I love that. Throw it. Go ahead.
Exactly.
I'll make
Exactly.
I'll make an Instagram post. Go ahead, stomp on me, and it's still not gonna change my mind.
No, yeah, I like it. Out of all the current shortstops like that you're hunting for in Bowman or any of the past years, do you have one that you're like, ah, yeah, this is who I really want to try to settle on and collect?
um, Shortstops. No, I mean I really like Oswaldo Cabrera for the Yankees. I know he's like rookie last year, but I just think that that dude has so much talent, and he's played almost every position right now in the Yankees.
Yeah.
It's interesting. It's actually his rookie card is in this year's 2023 Bowman.
Hmm.
But just watching him in person, having watching him play throughout the past year and watching the Yankees utilize him in so many different places and him be so
Hmm.
powerful, I think guys like that are people to really watch when it comes to baseball. So I
Yeah.
mean, Otani, my God, it's not a shortstop, but like that dude is just it's too late to jump on that bandwagon.
No.
But so I would say, Oswaldo Cabrera, I think he's underrated. I think that he's gonna come up, even though he's, you know, older. I'm excited to see again every year. I'm a Bowman collector, I'm a prospector. So every
Hmm.
year when I collect, I have loads of these cards, and there's always a few guys. I think Spencer Jones for the Yankees. I think they're looking
Okay.
at him as the next Judge. He's the same stature. He's a big dude, and they're like, "Oh, we
Yeah.
did it once. Can we get lucky twice and kind of like,
Yeah.
make him
Why
like
not?
that?
Why not?
Why
Yeah.
not?" There's Jade. I mean, so when it comes to shortstops, no, it's I'm
Okay.
very much so just a fan of certain players. Even when it comes to teams, I could love a guy in a different team and believe in him and hope in him, and
Just not the
and
Mets.
no, actually, I love Pete Alonso, Polar Bear Pete. Listen, that guy
Yeah, yeah.
can smack the ball. So again, I've even with football, basketball, I love players, and people get traded. So I
Yeah,
find the love for the sport and the
yeah.
players and their talent. And
No.
yeah, I hope to God they're in the Yankees, but it's not always the case, and most of the time it's not. So,
Otani to the Yankees. Just keep dreaming, right? Like, can you
oh
imagine?
my God, I can. We need pitchers, but like also we need hitters. I would Sam, you would see me like roll over. Like
Yeah,
in my, I don't even
yeah,
know if I don't think it's ever gonna happen. But like
yeah.
Otani to the Yankees, it
No.
would be dumb, silly, but like amazing.
Be like, Jeter, move over. I'm sitting here with Otani and I'm gonna have a hot dog and
Yeah, and I'm
just
pretty
leave
sure
me
that like
alone.
his yeah, I'm pretty sure his English isn't that good. But man, I would
No.
learn how to speak some type of you know I would learn. And eating hot dogs, it's my thing. So like I'd sit there and eat a hot dog with him gladly, and I would tell
Man.
Jeter, hey, I'll talk to you in 10.
What a career arc that would be. That'd be amazing.
Imagine.
So
That's the dream, I guess. Next, people are always like
absolutely.
the dream. I'm like Derek Jeter. Well, the dream next is, I guess, to tell Jeter to sit next to me while I talk to Otani.
There you go. Gotta have a bucket list, and I like that one. So,
Yeah,
well, before we let you go, anything you want to promote, like your social media handles, Bleaker Trading? This is your chance. So,
yeah, for sure. So again, you can follow me at Breaks with Jess. So Bleaker Trading, I'm there very often. We actually just launched our membership program. So
cool, cool.
yeah, so it's going to be a hard launch in July. So anybody listening, if you go to bleakertrading.com or Bleaker Trading on social media, we have a really insane membership program. We have two tiers, and basically that's going to get you a ton of access, swag, a lot of stuff in the hobby and industry that we all use. Um, Included. So it's a ton of value and a ton of great opportunities, such as going to the Burbank Card Show for free,
Mm,
special VIP stuff going into the National, um, and exclusive like merch, events, and just access to wax and other stuff that you're paying a small price when it comes to the value. So that's definitely something to shout out, something that we've been working on, and something that I'm definitely behind just because it makes sense. And
mm,
again, I'm authentic. I'm just like, I would buy it if I didn't work there.
right,
Um,
yeah.
so it's super cool. So look out for that. And again, I'm Breaks with Jess on Instagram. I promise to start doing more content. So look out for that, and you can hold me to it as well.
Fair enough. Yeah. Well, thanks so much. Good chatting with you, and we'll talk more.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.